Hi, I'm Rick Jenkins and I'm the publisher at GSA Business Report, and welcome to another episode of Coffee With. And today I'm having coffee with Jennifer Moorefield of Greenville Technical College. Thank you for joining us.
Hey Rick, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
It's good to see you. I appreciate you being here. Jennifer is the Associate Vice President of Economic Development and Corporate Training, which I believe is a long-winded way of saying you run the continuing education program.
That's right, Rick. We focus on continuing education at Greenville Tech. In our division, we serve roughly 9,600 folks a year who are looking to gain a new skill, further their existing certification, or experience something new and fun and different.
How many people you have helping you with this?
Well, we have a very talented and skilled team, Rick. We have 10 leaders. Those leaders are subject matter experts over 5 different program areas, and each of those program areas have program coordinators, and they're supported by a number of adjunct faculty from our business community who have the skills and the experience and the work experience that our students need in order to further their skills.
My goodness, that's a lot. And it sounds like you've got several folks, but when you are serving almost 10,000 people, I'm sure you get stretched pretty thin.
We do, and that's why we rely heavily on our partners in business and industry who come in and serve as adjuncts. We offer courses during the day, evening, and weekends, which allows flexibility for those that work full-time in a specific profession to come in and assist us.
I'll tell you what, let's back up for a second. I want to keep talking about what you do in Greenville Tech. But first, let's talk about you for a second.
Sure.
You've been at Greenville Tech for, what, 2.5 years, something like that? Now, you were at Greenville Tech before, though.
Absolutely. I actually started my career in adult education at Greenville Tech back in the 90s, and that was my first step really into adult education, training and development, organizational development. Left Greenville Tech, went into consulting, traveled the country, was based out of the Midwest, and then returned to Greenville a few years ago and came right back to where I started in the role of an adjunct instructor, sharing my experience in business and industry with young professionals, middle managers, and senior managers. So it has, clearly been a circle and a journey back to Greenville, Greenville County, and Greenville Tech.
Okay, so let's talk about the type of training that you provide and to the types of people that you provide it to, and I think just as importantly, the types of companies. So if I'm thinking about continuing education, if you're thinking of a company that you help do this, is there a sweet spot company for you? What does that company look like? Are they big? Are they small? Are they mid-level managers? All the above?
Yes, Rick, all of the above. We work with small business owners, startups, middle-sized companies, large companies, major manufacturers, their suppliers, tier 1, 2, and 3 suppliers, and we offer a variety of different training options for each of those companies. So we have the ability to take anything in our course catalog and customize it, and when we do that, we go out with our business development team, which is our sales team, and we sit down and we conduct a needs analysis and we find out what does the company really need and want, and then we tailor that material to their specific target audience.
So you just said you have a sales team, and I never stopped to think about that before, but I suppose it makes sense. You all aren't just sitting there waiting for someone to call you and say, hey, I might need some training on something. You guys are being proactive and you're getting out there and knocking on doors.
Absolutely.
How's that
we
work?
are. Well, it works a couple of different ways. We get leads from people going to our website, filling out an information sheet. We get leads from attending conferences, very similar to the conferences you promote and sponsor. And we are out talking to the community and business leaders. And, so whether that's at an HR event, an employee law series, a quality program, or chapter here in the upstate, we are constantly trying to keep our pulse on what their needs are, what the trends are, what the upcoming changes are to any type of standards or processes or systems, so that we can provide that training. So yes, we do cold calls, we do conferences, but we also leverage the partnerships that we have and follow up with those partners. And many of our partnerships, have been going for years.
You know, several decades ago, Greenville was a textile mill town. And several decades ago, we had workforce development issues. And you fast forward 30 years, and we're not a textile mill town anymore, even though there still are textile companies here. A lot of people don't know that, but there are quite a few.
But there are, yes.
And we're no longer that, but we are an advanced manufacturing community, one of the fastest growing advanced manufacturing hubs in the Southeast. And you know what? We still have workforce development issues.
Yes,
we
we
still
do.
have what we call a skills gap. We still have trouble finding people, and especially in the manufacturing industry. So let's talk a little bit about that. Do you work a lot with manufacturers?
We do, a lot. And to your point about how do we fill that gap? Where do we find these employees? At Greenville Tech, we're very pleased that over the last year, we have worked very closely with Greenville County Schools to align our pathways, our schools of education, to the pathways that they talk about within Greenville County Schools. So that if you're a kindergartner starting in Greenville County Schools, you're going to see the same logo, the same verbiage, the same color coding in the Greenville County Schools that you'll see at Greenville Tech. So we're trying to get students interested at a younger age. We're collaborating with the engineering elementary schools, middle schools. We're hoping to work with the new manufacturing high school, which is going to be in Fountain Inn. So we're trying to be creative in building that pipeline or sooner. As you alluded with the textile industry, you had a ready-made workforce within that community.
That's right. You know, I've always thought that one of the problems is not only convincing the kids, but convincing the parents. Because, and excuse the grammar, but this ain't your daddy's manufacturing job anymore.
That's
right?
correct.
There was a time when a manufacturing job was using a screwdriver or a wrench, and you're going to do this all day long, right? And so I think mom and dad or grandparents sometimes think that it might still look that way, but it doesn't look that way anymore.
It does not.
Right? Now we have robots to do those jobs, and now we need people to manage the robots, basically. And there are a lot of good jobs out there, and what I have found is that a lot of these jobs, a majority of these jobs, don't require a 4-year education. They require a 2-year degree at a place like Greenville Tech, a mechatronics certificate, and something along those lines. They can get out and they can qualify for jobs that make $35,000, $40,000 a year, and then a few years later that company might pay them to go back to school and get a 4-year degree.
Absolutely, and that's another emphasis, an area of emphasis that we are focusing on, is that oftentimes it doesn't take a 2-year degree, it takes a certificate.
That's right.
And in continuing education, we have quick jobs, which is where you can come and obtain a skill to become gainfully employed 90 days or less. And one of those jobs that you mentioned, mechatronics, CNC operator, we see a lot of folks coming to us to get that certificate. They're able to become gainfully employed, and then as you mentioned, once they're employed, the company is willing to invest further in their education, and they can, and what's brilliant about it is our certificate actually applies credit towards that 2-year degree. So we are creating pathways and stackable credentials internally so that it's seamless for the student.
You know, another way that, and I'm going to stick with manufacturing for a while, it's just so big in our community, but another way that manufacturers are finding, not only manufacturers, but that are finding as a way to train a workforce and to develop a workforce is through apprenticeships.
Absolutely.
Are you guys involved in that?
Yes, we are. We work closely, and I'm not sure if you're aware, Rick, but we have 16 state technical colleges here in South Carolina.
I'm well aware.
Yes, and we report up to State Tech, and 2 wonderful services we have at State Tech is Ready SC and Apprenticeship Carolina. And so we work closely with Apprenticeship Carolina to identify grant funding, federal, state, and local funding that we are able to use to partner with local business and industry to offer those registered apprentices.
Right. Jennifer, it's obvious you guys provide all types of training for all types of people and all types of companies. There's too much to talk about today. We'd be here all day.
We would.
I would enjoy it, but we'd be here all day. So tell the folks where they can go to get more information.
Absolutely. Go to gvltec.edu/EDCT, and you can find our latest Pathways catalog that just came out last week.
Wow, you got a good memory. If you didn't get it, just rewind this video and all is good. Okay, I believe that's it. One last question. We always do this before we go. South Carolina or Clemson?
Neither.
Neither.
Roll Tide.
Oh, an Alabama fan. Okay, well, we're not going to go there anymore. Folks, thanks for joining us on another episode of Coffee With. And check back with us from time to time and see more Coffee With episodes on YouTube. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome.